Good evening, guys. Welcome to the Pinstripe Chronicles edition / Yankified podcast. And that will be it for the 2025 New York Yankees. So I just want to say, first of all, thank you to everyone that has watched, the Yankified, everyone that has subbed to the Pinstripe Chronicles this year. It's been our most successful year. So, although the year didn't work out as we'd hoped for the Yankees, it's been a positive year for the podcast, and so I do want to say a big thank you to everyone that's taking the time to comment, taking the time to sub up. We've built up a good network here. We've built up some friendships off air, and that's why we do it. So, before I really dig into the Yankees, and boy, will I, trust me. I don't want to forget about what this is really about, and that's about us coming together as a Yankee family, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what this has brought to us. It's really enriched our lives. So a big thank you, and I really hope that I've made a difference, and Tats and Rob and Sierra and Lynn have made a difference to you guys as well, because we do it for you guys in many ways too. So I wanted to take that as an opportunity to say a big thank you first of all. So if you haven't already done so, it would certainly mean a lot if you guys could hit the like button and sub up, because this is a year-round thing. I mean, just because the Yankee season is over, our season is far from over. In fact, it ramps up in the off-season. If anything, you're going to get plenty of content. So if any of you guys are interested, please hit the sub button. And we've got memberships and the whole thing. And we'll have some plans for the off-season to continue to give you guys the best content we possibly can. But to do so, we need a little bit of help. So if you guys could hit the sub button, that would mean the world to us. But thank you so much to everyone anyway. And that's the nice, kind pleasantries out the way. But let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's get into the nuts and bolts of this thing. So let's start with let's get some. Let's get the hard work out of the way. Let's get the advertisements out the way. So this episode is brought to you by Aaron Boone's Bubbles. Aaron Boone Bubblegum. There you go. And unlike Aaron Boone, this bubblegum will continue to be blowing bubbles right through October. Unlike Aaron Boone. What a disaster. What a disaster. But it's really hard to be angry because, to be honest, this is 8 straight years of this. It's been 8 years. Nothing's changed. They are very self-satisfied. They are arrogant, and they're lost. Hal Steinbrenner is an absentee owner. It's so deeply disappointing that he has inherited such a proud franchise with a very committed fan base. And it has one very simple mandate. The mandate is to win. Win at all costs. If you don't win, find someone else that will. Now, I know that baseball's changed. The climate of baseball has changed. The financial climate of baseball has changed. I know there is more clarity. I know there is more parity around the league. Teams are smarter now. I get that. And I understand that the Dodgers are just as financially capable as the Yankees, as are the Mets. We understand these things. However, when you haven't won a World Series in 16 years, you've been to one World Series in 16 years, and you have the financial resources to not just beat but destroy 99% of the league. The fact that you haven't been able to be the best team, at least in the American League, any more than once in the last 16 years, is a disgrace. It's a disgrace. It's a letdown. Fans travel all over the world. As an expat here, I travel all over the world to go see the Yanks. I'll travel. I'll do it. But they abuse our fandom. They treat us like idiots. They don't respect us. They call us spoiled. How spoiled really are we, though? Because the modern generation has never seen the Yankees win a World Series in their adult life. Right? I haven't seen them win anything in 16 years. How spoiled really are we? That doesn't seem very spoiled to me. All we ask for is commitment. All we ask for is accountability. All we ask for is changes when something isn't working. It really shouldn't be this huge deal. But instead, we're caught in this never-ending cycle, and it's the same story. You can go past, because we've been doing this podcast for a long time, even for those that have only just subbed up. The same stuff that I said after the Yankees lost to the Astros in 2022 is the same stuff that I can say today. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. It's always the same. It's always the same story. There's always excuses. There's always going to be the next update saying Aaron Boone's not going anywhere because he's got his two biggest supporters, and that's Hal Steinbrenner and Aaron Judge. And it's the same thing. And then people always go, oh, what do you want Aaron Boone to do? You know, he doesn't, he only does what front office wants him to do. He can't hit, he can't pitch. Always the same excuses, you know? And then the Yankees just roll out the same excuses. Oh, I mean, they've blamed the weather in the past. They've blamed our expectations in the past. They blamed J Happ in the past. They will do anything to get the spotlight off them. But I'm here, and this is what our podcast is for, to put the spotlight where it belongs, firmly on them, whether they like it or not. Whether Jason Zillow likes it or not, whether Aaron Boone likes it or not, whether Mike Fishman likes it or not, whether Hal Steinbrenner likes it or not, whether Brian Cashman likes it or not. Here's the reality. The Yankees are getting lapped by other organizations. They've allowed the Blue Jays to catch up to them and lap them just this year alone. They've allowed that to happen. They're a complacent organization. They're a lazy organization. But worst of all, they just have a bunker mentality. Brian Cashman surrounded himself with yes men, and he can't see the wood for the trees. And his biggest blind spot, ironically, is actually the manager, who he never should have hired in the first place. And it actually undoes a lot of the really good work that he's done in roster building. This has been a good year for him, personally, in terms of building a roster. He's built a very good roster. I mean, you can't really argue with 80% of this team. Team's talented. But the one common denominator, no matter how much talent is on that field, the one common denominator is the manager. And Aaron Boone got it wrong tonight. Again. He got it wrong again. It started in the first inning. It started when they pitched to Vladimir Guerrero with an open base. Even the announcers were saying, don't pitch to him. They said that in the first inning. What did the Yankees do? They pitched to him. What happened? They fell behind. They did that to themselves because Aaron Boone is a dope. I mean, I can't say it any other way. He is a dope. They don't have a game plan, and they don't have any attention to detail. He is a dope. He allowed Anthony Volpe to strike out the Yankees all the way out of the ALDS. Anthony Volpe led the playoffs, led all playoff teams, led everybody in the entire playoffs in strikeouts. While Caballero gathered dust on the bench. Aaron Boone did that. He did that because he didn't want to hurt Anthony Volpe's feelings. He couldn't bring himself to hurt poor little Anthony's feelings. His stepson. He couldn't do that. So instead, because he's such a pussy and he has no leadership, he allowed Anthony Volpe to get the Yankees out of the ALDS. It made no sense for Anthony Volpe to keep coming up in big spots late in this game with a full bench, with Ben Rice sitting there before he was used, with Jason Dominguez just sitting there, dusted off until the ninth inning. I didn't even know that Dominguez was on this postseason roster because we never saw him. And to have Austin Wells come up with the bases loaded in that spot, swing at the first pitch, you're playing with feelings. You have perfectly good options off the bench. Aaron Boone didn't know how to use his bench. Aaron Boone had a nightmare of a game. I don't know what his strategy was. The Blue Jays had a strategy. In that pitching, in that bullpen game that they had a strategy. They knew how to line up against the Yankees lineup. They managed it perfectly. Snyder's a very good manager. He managed that perfectly. He managed the lefty-righty matchups perfectly and completely outmanaged Aaron Boone. So, for anybody who defends Aaron Boone, I have one major question to you. What competitive advantage does he provide as a manager? It's a very simple question. And I want you guys to think about it. I want you guys to go home and think about it. I want you guys to go to bed and sleep on it and think about it. And then on our next podcast, you can reply if you need to. But you need to really seriously think about it. What competitive advantage does Aaron Boone provide? So, I mean, I've given you plenty of examples since 2018 that he doesn't know how to manage in the postseason. In 2018, he was so bad that Hal Steinbrenner, who loves him, and Hal Steinbrenner, who's absent, actually did go on the Michael Kay show, and I can remember in 2018, I remember listening to it, where he said our manager made a lot of mistakes. That was in 2018. Yep, I remember it. And then you go forward into further postseasons where the Red Sox embarrassed us in the wild card. No changes were made. We got swept by the Astros in the LCS. No changes were made. The COVID season was an absolute disgrace. No changes were made. They fucked up the DV Garcia J Happ thing. Jettisoned the Yankees out of the playoffs. No changes were made. Aaron Boone completely screwed up the World Series spectacularly. Couldn't have managed it worse. Gets an extension. And this year, ALDS, he almost screwed up the wild card, by the way. He almost did. It's a miracle that the Yankees overcame what he did in the wild card. He managed it pathetically. But this was much worse. You run through the numbers, he managed it horrifically. He did a horrible job. He didn't know what he was doing. They don't pay any attention to detail. They are lazy and arrogant. And I'm sure Brian Cashman's going to go home tonight and go, I'm really pleased and proud of our guys. Congratulations. I'm sure of it. Because this is the new Yankees. And it all starts from the top. It starts from Hal, who's absent. We don't know where he is. It's pathetic that our owner or chief shareholder or whoever position he wants to be in can't be bothered to go to this game at Yankee Stadium in the playoffs. Where was he? Why was the only game that I've seen him was because Donald Trump, the president, turned up? Why is that? Why couldn't he be bothered to show up? He's only in Tampa Bay. It's not that far. It's an hour's flight. I'm pretty sure he can afford it. He's a billionaire. Pretty sure he can make his way up. I've traveled farther to see the Yankees than Hal has since he became owner. What does he do? Where is he? This is the one thing that I'm annoyed at. Where is he? Why wasn't he there? I saw Brian Cashman there. Unfortunately, I saw Aaron Boone in the dugout. Where's Hal? Watch it on TV. Cleaning his tights. Like, honestly, what is he doing? Washing his tights. Batman reference there, but no, where is he? Freaking joke. So our absentee owner has no idea about running a baseball operation. Brian Cashman's too long in the tooth. He can't see the wood for the trees. And Aaron Boone is as soft as baby shit. I saw that press conference from Aaron Boone after that. And it just made me just shake my head and say, I really hate that man. I really can't stand Aaron Boone. He is everything that I hate in a manager. He's everything that I hate in a person. He's just so soft. Nothing. He was like choking back tears, and he was talking about how the players in the locker room are back in the locker room sharing. Like, what is this? Oh, they're back there sharing. They became such a close group. They're sharing right now. They're sharing? What are we doing here? It's not an AA meeting. It's not a fucking grieving meeting. These are professional adults who got their asses handed to them by a better team. I want to see some anger. Instead, we got them back in the locker room sharing. What are they sharing? I don't want to know what they're sharing. I lost my cat when I was 16. Oh, sprinkles. Is that what they're sharing? I just can't. I just can't. I mean, I know that the world has changed, but you know, when I was growing up, I remember after the Yankees lost and were getting embarrassed, you would have Jorge Posada and Derek Jeter like standing at the top step, watching them celebrate with nothing but anger and vitriol and fury and hurt dripping off them. It hurt them deeply that the Yankees lost. Hurt them. Now, they all just trudged off. They all just trudged off. Nothing. They all just trudged off. Dominguez was the last one to leave, and he was probably looking there because he probably knows that the Yankees are probably going to try and trade him. Everyone else just went back into the dugout and started sharing. Oh, I lost my pet Sprinkles when I was 16. He's gone into cat heaven. Oh. A bunch of babies. Seriously. I just can't do it anymore with this. This organization is unbelievably soft. And Issy's got the point here. Jazz yawning. Jazz yawning. And that's apparently okay. That's apparently okay. Good one, Issy. But, like, That's apparently okay. Jazz sitting there yawning. Well, he didn't look that locked in tonight, did he? He yawned his ass out of the fucking playoffs with a pathetic performance. He was terrible. But I can't be mad anymore because I've done my screaming. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. The Yankees have done nothing to change. And they will continue to be what they are right now until they make some serious changes. And that's going to be my final thoughts until I start bringing some guests in here. But I need to be absolutely clear here. The Yankees are stuck in this vicious cycle right now. It's like they're stuck in a washing cycle. They're just going round and round in a circle. That's all they're doing. They win enough games to make the playoffs, whether it's the wild card or whether it's the division. Mostly, it's the wild card under this new regime under Aaron Boone, right? And it's the same cycle. They start off hot, then we get to the summer, they get complacent, and then Aaron Boone, who has absolutely no leadership ability, allows it all just to fall apart. And then it snowballs into, by July, panic stations. And this happened every single year, where either he needs to beat against the table or Big G needs to pull the team together and do players-only meetings to save things. Because he's apparently the only dude that has any vocal leadership behind the scenes. And then they kind of dig themselves out of it. They get kind of hot in September. And then people are optimistic. They get to October. And then they flame out. And it's happened every single year. Every single year. What I just described to you has happened every single year since that COVID season. That COVID year was a while ago. And it's been exactly the same every year since. They start pretty hot. They fall apart in the summer. They dig themselves out. They get to the postseason and flame out. And it's happened every single year. And instead, we just get excuses rather than changes. Excuses rather than changes. Excuses rather than changes. And that's why we're just caught in this circle. It's just been a cycle, just like that. And it happens every single year. Nothing's changed. And until you jump out of that wash cycle, until you jump out of that never-ending fucking carousel of shit, of mediocrity, which it is, it's mediocre. It's mediocre for the Yankees standards. It's great if you're a Pittsburgh Pirate, but I'm pretty sure after 8 straight years of doing nothing, even the Pirates would be kind of tired of it. Because eventually you need to do something. You can't just be happy just to make the playoffs. No one remembers making the playoffs. There's no flag for the playoffs. There's no flag to get beat in the ALDS. There's none. None that I'm aware of. I'm sure Boone would love to have one, but that's as close to a flag or a championship or a ring he's ever going to get. But until the Yankees go to MLB and start demanding that they give out championship rings for getting defeated in the ALDS, then I'm sorry. You don't get praise for it. You don't. All you did was you lasted a week longer than the Mets. You lasted 72 hours longer than the Red Sox. Congratulations, guys. What did we do? It's kind of pathetic, really. It's pathetic that the Yankees are in this spot, that they're so self-satisfied with this. The playoffs mean nothing unless you actually win in the playoffs. If you just get there and flame out and get embarrassed, then that's nothing to be excited about. And it feels like I'm just like shouting against the wall because it's so obvious, but the Yankees ignore it. Why do the Yankees ignore it? Because they are self-satisfied and arrogant. Until they wake up and realize that there is a problem, nothing will change. And it will be the same story next year. And the same story after that. And the same story after that. Nothing will change. It's like an addict. You will only start getting better until you realize that there's a problem. Then you can start making steps to get better. But the Yankees are just stuck in this functioning situation where, okay, well, we're good enough to make the playoffs, but we're not good enough to actually win. And then they're so proud of that. There's nothing to be proud about. That is nothing to be proud of. It's pretty sickening, actually. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Hal Steinbrenner has let us all down. He's let his father down. He's let his family down. It's sad. It really is. He's let a proud, really proud franchise, the most proud, the most historic, the most winning franchise, and he has led it into the ground. He's run it into the ground. And that's the truth. He has run it into the ground. It's very sad. Imagine inheriting something from your father or anybody in your family. You'd want to do them proud, right? You'd want to do them proud. Everyone here, I guarantee, if you inherited something from your family members, whatever it is, doesn't have to be a business, could be anything. Wouldn't you want to do them proud? No, Joe, not Hal. Got serious daddy issues, Hal. And it's pathetic. Right, my first guess is Luca. And if you don't know Luca, then I don't know what's wrong with you. Because let's be honest, he did Yankee content with NYYU with his brother. And I'm sure his brother will be hopping on very, very soon. And it's a pleasure to continue to share the airwaves with my man, Luca. How are you doing, my guy?
Good, Donald. Good, Donald. First of all, good evening to everybody. First of all, I want to say you guys do a great job, as in the supporters, and also as well the Pinstripe Chronicles channel, whether it's your Upper Deck show, whether it's Yankified, Donald, yourself, or the Pinstripe Chronicles morning show with Rob, Tats, and you. I said this on Monday, and I think it bears repeating. I give you guys so much credit. You guys are probably the only guys that I talk to in the Yankee community in terms of content creating, but regardless of that, I talked about this on Monday. This is like a cycle. You're repeating the same stuff every offseason. We want change, additions made, trade deadlines, all these different things. It is the definition of insanity by doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's the New York Yankees.
Right.
And obviously we have Alex down here. I'll just finish up my first thoughts real quick. We'll dig this into a little deeper. I mentioned this on Monday as well. I said you could point to any stream. You could point to when you guys went live after the Yankees got swept in 22 in the ALCS. You guys can go back to when the Yankees got beaten the wild card, the Yankees got beaten the wild card in 2021. You can go back to Big Blue in the Bronx's stream. All three of us were on there when they lost the World Series last year.
Right.
I'll even mention a couple quotes. Donald, you said you cannot reward failure if you're a serious ball club. We reward failure. I can go over so many quotes that were recited, including me saying and ranting. And all my anger's out, by the way.
Yeah, same.
I said the Yankees will never win a World Series with Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman.
So far,
and as of right now, we're constantly being proven right because the 7 years of the same bullshit. Let's call it what it is. And nothing has changed. Hal Steinbrenner does not have the stomach to do anything. He is
No.
spineless. And I said on Monday, it's Brian Cashman running the organization. It's not Hal Steinbrenner. I don't think he cares. But without further ado, Alex was on hiatus. I'm not going to say hiatus, but he's turned professional, Donald. He's turned professional on us.
We've got my professional buddy here. The other half of the Twins. The other half of the Big Blue in the Bronx. My guy, Alex, who's now pro reporter down south, man. It is great to have you on again, man. And it's a reunion of the Boys in the Big Apple podcast. And I have to say, I've missed it. I've missed it a lot. And I think a lot of people have missed it because we torched the teams that deserve to get torched. And not enough of them are getting held accountable anymore. So it's great that we can do so again. So great to be talking to you again, Alex. First of all, how is things down south?
Oh man. First of all, Donald, I appreciate you having me on. I'll tease something. If a certain couple of things happen, there may be another reunion like this, but I'm not gonna go into further spoilers and whatnot. Things are going great. And I just want to say what's up to everybody in the chat. If you haven't already, subscribe to Pinstripe Chronicles and do all the good stuff. These guys do a great job on here. It's been going great, and I still talk to people in the content game. I do miss it because there's times where, like this, I want to go on Twitter and I kind of want to curse out this team, or I want to curse out the Giants, and I'm like, I'm more professional. I can't do that now because I'm not active as obviously as I used to be on my Big Blue in the Bronx account. But the people are nice down here. It's getting used to everything. Fortunately, I still have to deal with like Eagle fans and all these other different things. But overall, the experience has been great. The life has been great, but that doesn't mean I don't miss New York. That doesn't mean I don't miss the content game and being on these types of panels. I guess with that, I'll lead into my first thoughts about the Yankees. What's funny is after last year's World Series, and the Yankees came back to the stadium, and then they had that big blowout game 4, I believe it was, the World Series, where they just blew everything open. Anthony Volpe, I think, had a grand slam or whatnot. And then they lost the next game, and they completely imploded. So, funny enough, I was at my desk yesterday, and my boss comes over, who is a Dodgers fan, and I had a Yankees flag on my desk, and he says, do these things fly at half staff? I said, you know what? They're going to win. And this was yesterday. I said, they're going to win tonight, because they're going to lose tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Well, guess what happened? Well, unfortunately, I was correct. It is more of the same that us three and Tats and Rob and you guys here on the channel have been talking about for so long now. And it's getting old, but I think the fact that you guys keep pressuring, I don't want to say completely pressuring the Yankees, but they do hear, obviously, fans bitching about them. And I'm going to disagree slightly with Luca here. I'm not saying that Hal doesn't have a spine. I just don't think he cares because the stadium is set in a spot where he knows that people are going to come in. He knows that people are going to buy those chicken buckets. Hell, I was listening to the podcast the other day when you said that you went up to buy a hoodie and it was $300. Yeah. There are people that will pay for that, whether they're coming from another country or another city, and that's what keeps Hal going. Unfortunately,
it is. Yeah, it was absurd, and that just speaks to the way the Yankees are. They're just, I think they're all about marketing. They're very mediocre product. And slamming their logo on a bunch of items and then charging obscene amounts of money and making fans go broke watching their mediocre product. And then they get mad at the fans for being pissed that they paid so much money for such a mediocre product. And it's like, and then they blame the fans because that's what the Yankees do. They love to blame the fans. They've been doing it for years.
Oh yeah.
Now, there's gonna be defenders of the Yankees always and say, "Oh no, we love our fans. They always give us a great product." It's a mediocre product for what they are. That's what it is. It's a mediocre product for what they are. For what they are, as the biggest franchise in sports, I mean, and even in the world of sports, I believe that they're the third biggest franchise or the second biggest franchise in the whole world. This logo transcends baseball. Wherever you go, you could be in a freaking shop in China, you could be in Spain, you could be in freaking Timbuktu, and this logo will be sitting on hat shells. It's everywhere. It transcends baseball. This is an enormous franchise. And Hal is running it like it's just kind of a family run freaking, I don't know, small time kind of family thing. Not the major enterprise that it is.
It's profitable enterprise. That's what
it's very profitable. Of course it is. My God.
Somebody said it on Twitter. It was like months ago. The Yankees have turned into profitable enterprise, and that's what they are. My personal opinion, I'll interject real quick before Donald gets back to his point. The stadium atmosphere is a joke. Donald, you've been to the old stadium. I'm sure it's not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close in terms of atmosphere. Obviously, of the bleacher creatures. The prices, as we just mentioned about the hoodie, are exorbitant, especially for food. I think it was either you, Alex, or cousin Anthony or somebody bought like a chicken bucket and like a soda. It was like $30. It was absolutely ridiculous. They, for some reason, still, they do the $19.99 burger or whatever, and they do limited sales for the 99 burger, even though they're $1 billion enterprise, but whatever. But the stadium atmosphere is a joke. I went over on Monday how bad the atmosphere was when we went back in May to that rainy game where Pablo Reyes was playing. But when Pablo Reyes was playing on that Sunday. And by
the way, all those games matter.
They do.
The Yankees deny it, but those games matter because how much did the Yankees lose the division by? 0 games.
0 games.
They lost it on a head-to-head, but really, all they needed was one more game. All they needed to win one more win. So all those freaking games where they had Pablo Reyes out there cost the Yankees the division. Cost them a chance to go to the ALCS right now. Every game matters. But they don't care.
No.
They don't care between June and the end of August. They just don't care. They treat it all like, it's fine. Look at us. We're head in the division. We'll make the playoffs. It's cool. We're good. Let's just play this guy out there. Well, let's plan for a season. Let's plan for a series 3 weeks ahead. Even if we lose the next 2 weeks, it's cool. Like, it's an arrogant and it's an awful operation for what they are. For what they are, it's an awful organization.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And let me add real quick. They are, because you were bringing up, Luca was bringing up Pablo Reyes. They are so reactive. They're not proactive in their personnel search because they traded for Ahmed Rosario. I mean, great, but you could have signed him in the offseason, right? And not to mention, like, the way they went about this deadline and just the way kind of, you look at the deadline, and I was not really bought on this team until, like, end of September. I'm like, okay, there could be something. That's why I didn't get excited, right? That's why I kind of had my hopes kind of, like, off to the side. But I'm not joking. This was a real situation. We were in Virginia with my moving truck, and like moments before, maybe hours before, I saw the Yankees were like beating the piss out of the Marlins. I'm like, okay, great. They're beating the Marlins. They should be. Then they blew it with Doval, I think, losing the game, if I was correct, Luca. And I'm like, how the hell did they blow this game? And you know what pisses me off? It doesn't really piss me off because I don't really get mad anymore, but it's just so funny how the Yankees choose to market some of the players, but they don't market others. And they don't play the others. And I'll say this, right? We will probably give Anthony Volpe as much shit as he deserves throughout the offseason, now, whenever. We've given shit to Anthony Volpe.
Right.
From my time on Yankees Twitter, at least this past year, and even going back to last year, I don't think Austin Wells gets enough shit. He's good defensively. Great. Right. What does he do at the plate? He doesn't do anything.
Pathetic with the bases loaded, Nathan.
Absolutely. And to sit here and start to try to convince us all these years, Jason Dominguez is the next this. And then you don't even play. What was it, last year or the year before? He wasn't on the playoff roster. Now in one of the biggest series against your division rival, the Toronto Blue Jays, with multiple left-handed pitchers, you do not throw him in. I don't get why they are so scared. That's
feelings. Feelings. That's what it's about. It's about feelings. And Anthony Volpe and to a lesser extent Austin Wells are a big part of that.
I'll say this for the record about Volpe. The only thing I legitimately got mad at that, because Alex was sitting in the recliner over there, and I as I said, my anger's mostly out, but it just didn't make sense to me, baseball sense, right? Let's revisit. I believe it was the 8th or the 7th inning. I think it was one of those innings, whatever. So Goldschmidt's on second. Eventually Rosario would single. Anthony Volpe comes up to the plate. He's 0 for 2. He strikes out.
Of course he did.
And then they pinch hit Rosario for McMahon, who hit a home run, the only run for the Yankees up to that point, which
against a lefty,
against a left-handed pitcher, which McMahon hit a home run off of. Not the same left-handed pitcher, but a left-handed pitcher. And again, fallacy, the predetermining outcome, ifs and buts, whatever. Imagine a scenario where Goldschmidt's on second, Rosario's on first, and I think it was a 3-run game at that point. Rosario on first, Goldschmidt on second, and McMahon is the tying run. Imagine a scenario like that, but no. Once again, Donald, feelings, right? And then, obviously, they brought in Jason Dominguez late in the game when the game didn't matter. It was essentially over, and Jason Dominguez gets a hit. There's no logistics. As you say all the time, Donald, and you said it, I remember in a tweet last year, Aaron Boone does nothing that resembles a manager. He is a bona fide spectator / babysitter. That's all he is. He's soulless. He's absolutely soulless. And most of the time, when it comes to his in-game moves, he's brainless. He has no feel for the game whatsoever.
No, he has no idea. I mean, you can even go back to the previous series against Boston. It's a miracle that the Yankees overcame what he did. I mean, in game 1, they couldn't overcome his own stupidity. Yeah, he was given an unbelievable start by Max Fried, and he managed to blow it because he took him out after 102 pitches, which is ridiculous. And then he went to Weaver, who had no idea what was going on. And it took until, wasn't it game 2, until he got his first out of the playoffs. It took until game 2 of this series till he got his first out of the playoffs. And Weaver was the first guy he turned to get the Yankees out of that game. And then in game 2, he misread it again with Rodon. He went 2 batters too late with Rodon.
And obviously,
and it took an amazing play by Cruz, an amazing performance by Cruz to get them out of that. But he screwed up both those games. He is very fortunate that they even made the DS. Mm-hmm. But then he reared his ugly head and completely mismanaged this game. This game was a complete mismanagement. Sorry, Luca.
It's okay. You were talking about Luke Weaver, right? I think it was after he blew the game in game 1, which many people said, hey, put in Fernando Cruz over Luke Weaver in that 7th inning. It's only a 2-run game. Eventually it was blown out of proportion. But, Luke Weaver said after game 1, still working through things. That's the mindset. Yeah. That's like, we got another game. I'm still working through my process, whatever you want to say. And Issy mentions a comment. They're all too nice, and it starts with the captain, the Jolly Green Giant, the nicest one of all. I'll say this for the record, and I was very critical of Aaron Judge on Monday. He did what he had to do in the postseason.
He did everything.
I celebrate that. I can't blame him for the postseason at all, especially this series. He tried today. He tried putting the team on his back, him and McMahon. Let's put that aside for a second. And obviously we won't remark on the other playoff failures, whatever. This has to be the moment because he has to realize that the entire organization is wasting his prime. Right. Aaron Judge put the best postseason up of his entire career through two series. If I'm Aaron Judge, and I don't know what the man thinks, and Judge said after the postgame, he wasn't like, his like nonchalant. I felt like there was an attitude change. He's like, we didn't complete our goal this year. That's what he said after the game. And if I'm Aaron Judge, I am tapping Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner and saying, this dude's got to go. Because how many more years are you going to waste? And again, I'm not like, oh, you hate Aaron Judge, this and the third. No, I'm giving him credit for his postseason. But you're also the captain of the team, and you're the face of the organization. You are a superstar. Do not think you don't have power. Fuck
He has
Brian
a ton
Cashman.
of power, man. He's
He
one of the only people in Hal's ear.
He has a ton of power, especially with the whole negotiations back, obviously, in 2022. You know, calling Hal, saying, hey, I'm leaving. And then Hal saying basically, hey, what do you want? And he gave it to him, gave him the captaincy, all these different things. Your job as a captain now, you have to push for some kind of change. I want to hope that he's turning the corner and say, you know, Judge becomes more of a loudmouth. I mean, you don't even have to be like a loudmouth, but like be like Giancarlo Stanton. Remember, it was like 2 months ago where the Yankees were in a swoon in the middle of a struggle, and Giancarlo Stanton had to call the players only meeting. Donald,
Right.
you mentioned on today's show, you're like, why isn't Aaron Boone calling this meeting? Why?
Great question. But that speaks to the problems that exist. But let's ask this simple question.
Yes.
Is this it for Aaron Boone? Start with
Nope.
that.
Nope. He stays. Listen, you guys want to hear his response after the game? They asked him if he was going to be back next year. He said, yeah, I'm under contract.
It's just a fucking word salad of platitudes.
And that's the problem. I did read Chris Karshner's article just before I went on. And it did say that just because the Yankees didn't get knocked out by the Red Sox, that his position's pretty much safe. Or that as long as the Yankees didn't get swept by the Blue Jays, then we're good.
Yeah, listen. Damn, I just lost my train of thought.
Because it's so disgusting. I mean, it's just.
It is disgusting, but I actually caught my point. Donald, you said it. I said it on Monday. You have to recognize a problem for there to be change. If the Yankees don't recognize a problem, there won't be change. And right now, here's the thing. The Yankees actually do recognize a problem in their minds. They say the fans' expectations are too high.
Yes, that's their problem.
That's their problem. They'll say the problem is not us and how we operate. It's the Yankee fans. They can't change the Yankee fans' opinions, but they will send their media minions. If you guys didn't read, check out Buster Olney's tweet yesterday talking about the nuanced expectations that Hal Steinberg has set for the team. Nuanced is the key word. That was instant PR. That was basically setting up for the expectation that this season would fail in this series, whether it was yesterday.
They knew it. They knew it.
They knew it was going to fail. And they said, guys, just prepare, lower your expectations because we're not winning a World Series this year. Complain, bitch, moan, whatever. That's how it goes.
Let's get my little minion, Buster Olney, to come out and tweet that there's nuance to losing. There's nuance. And I need to make this absolutely crystal clear. There is no nuance. You either win a championship or you don't.
Right. No.
There's no nuance to that. It's as very clear as that. You can go but if the wind blew that way and we had that player and we didn't have that player and that injury didn't happen or blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. You either win it all or you don't. Now, I'm not saying it's easy to win it all, but there is no nuance.
I apologize.
Nuance, yeah,
I apologize, Donald. Aaron Boone actually mentioned that. He's like, I've been chasing the World Series my entire life. It's not easy to win a World Series. He said that after the game.
That's fucking great.
I've been chasing $1 million.
Right. It isn't easy. I've been chasing a World Series my whole. Well, maybe that's part of the problem then, Aaron. Maybe you just ain't it. Because Jeter has 5 of them. Posada has 5 of them. Pettit has fucking 5. These guys, Bernie has 5 of them. There's like 20 fucking rings between those 4 guys that I fucking mentioned.
Absolutely.
Aaron Boone will never see one of them.
Aaron Boone will never see one of them. And at this rate, neither's Aaron Judge.
Donald, you said it last year. And your final dialogue after the World Series on Big Blue in the Bronx stream. Aaron Boone, you better go kiss Derek Jeter's rings because that's the closest you're ever going to get to one. And I got to mention this. I apologize for going in 7 different directions. Here's a player that I think the Yankees fans should really start to clown on. And this guy, Alex, I think Alex knows who I'm talking about. This guy's name is Jazz Chisholm Jr. I'm sick of his crap. This was said August 28th, 2025. This was amidst the Yankees' hot streak in the summer. We're going to go out there and win, talking about the division, and then we're going to go and win the World Series. That's the second year in a row he's made that declaration. And Donald, what did he do? A big fat 0 in the playoffs. And, people say, well, Jazz, in the regular season, this, that, and the third. He turned his back to the media. The dude is all about antics. He's all bark, no bite. I seriously think he needs to go. This is not being hateful or anything like that. But seeing his playoff appearances for the past 2 years, even with the Marlins, the 1 year they made the playoffs with him, he was terrible. But he is all bark, no bite. You saw the error that he made in the middle innings. You saw him yawning yesterday. The dude is all swagger. He is like soft.
And did you guys see his tweet after the game?
He tweeted?
He tweeted after not tonight's game, yesterday's game, saying, I yawn all the time.
He's soft Gardner. He's like soft Gardner. As I'm saying, I call him soft Gardner, sauce Gardner. They're so alike. It's soft not even funny. Yeah, that's he
wanted. You know what's funny is that Aaron Boone wanted to be captain Tough Pants the day after Jazz didn't like being started or did not like not being started. He's like, well, I don't expect Jazz to approve of my decisions. I expect him to be a good ball player or some stupid stuff like that. And I'm just like, boy, you get no respect. You know what's funny? I was thinking about this the other day, and I know we live in such a different generation of sports players and whatnot, but like, Donald, how many times does it come back to you as a Giants fan that Michael Strahan fucking hated Tom Coughlin?
But it doesn't matter whether you hate them or not.
No, exactly. And then those two won a ring together.
Exactly.
But Aaron Boone is the clown in the middle, as you said in your opening monologue. They're sharing, which is like, what are you sharing? Like a toy?
That's what he was saying.
Sharing a toy car or something.
They only respect sharing. Now,
I will say
Jazz's tweet, by the way, guys.
Oh God.
Here's Jazz's tweet. I only just came across this. I yawn all day long, day and night. So say what you want.
Yawn at your performance, bro.
I'll say what I want. You fucked us tonight. How about that?
Absolutely.
You absolutely fucked us. Whether you yawn all day long or you don't, you absolutely fucked us.
Absolutely, in my opinion, should be trade bait this offseason. But like once again, Jazz is a part of the Yankees' toxic culture, and nothing will change, as we've all highlighted. You have to highlight a problem within the organization, not outside the organization, within the organization to say, hey, you know what? We got to change things around here. Listen, somebody said, I was debating with somebody on Twitter today. It was during the game, and he's like, maybe this is the last game Aaron Boone manages. I'm like, no, it's not. Boone and Cashman literally have guaranteed jobs almost. He's like, well, Boone's not going to survive this, and that. I'm like, I wish you were right. But even if Boone is fired, you're not solving the whole problem. That's half-assing it. It's kind of like the Giants, Alex, you can allude to whenever you want. You fire the coach or the manager. The Yankees aren't doing so. I'll just put that out there. If you fired Boone and kept Cashman, what are you really changing? And I can't stand Aaron Boone for the life of me. Yeah. But the same, Donald, you mentioned a great point talking about the roster, how it's basically 80% complete and all these different things. You can make little adjustments, of course, but there's enough talent here to win a World Series. Talent. But again, coaching, fundamentals, all these different things. But people will justify that as Brian Cashman's job. But also, I wouldn't justify Brian Cashman's job because he's a part of the culture problem. He's the one that is out there attacking fans. Remember the supposed article that came out 2 years ago when he was out to dinner with like Omar Minaya?
Yeah,
and they were talking. Brian Cashman was talking about the so high expectations, the Yankees. Remember, Donald, I think you did a single whole Yankified on this.
I did a whole Yankified on it. It was absurd because he was because the way he put it was that the problem wasn't the Yankees getting swept off the Astros. It was the Yankee fans' expectations that were the
It
problem.
was also
The way he put it was he said it was in reality we made a hell of a run at it. It was perception versus reality. He said in perception we failed to achieve, but in reality we had a hell of a run at it. But in reality, it's actually the other way around. He's actually projecting because it's actually the other way around.
Of course,
right?
But
at the end of the day, the way he tried to fucking gaslight us, it's actually the other way around. The perception might have been, oh, we made it to the LCS, but in reality, they had a horrible freaking series. They embarrassed themselves. They got swept.
But Donald, it wasn't even just that instance. I was also more talking about this past summer when Brian Cashman went in front of the media and he was attacking the fans. You did a whole single episode on that too. I don't know I don't remember what Cashman said specifically, but he went down the same road attacking the fans.
I can remember. He said that. Well, how did he put it again? He says it's not. It's not the team's job to hold the team accountable because the media market does that. The big market does that already. So his job and Aaron Boone's job is to love them and take care of them and all that. It's basically just awful, disgusting, blech.
It's paltry,
vile.
How about when Brian Cashman said like 2 years ago that the process is better than the results?
Right. That was a good one. I loved that one. And what did he say? He would never fire a manager over wins and losses. It was only the process. As long as they're following the process, he will never fire a manager. That's the problem. And again, if I'm getting people come to me and say, yeah, but the players love Aaron Boone. That's the problem. That is the problem. I would much rather they didn't like him, frankly, because they didn't like Joe Girardi. Nobody fucking liked Joe Girardi. And guess what? He's a 10 times better manager, 10 times more prepared, and he actually fucking won a World Series as a manager, let alone as a player. There's differences. Right? And nobody fucking liked Girardi, but they fucking played for him because they respected him. No one fucking plays for Aaron Boone. Nobody plays for Aaron Boone.
No. And going back to Luca's point, I mean, I've never, and obviously, again, Donald, we saw it with the Giants just before Joe Shane came in, but it wasn't even that old. Like, the Yankees front office is filled with lifers, and nobody talks about that. Damon Oppenheimer's been there since this. Gene Afterman has been there since 1998. And which is so weird because they have this new analytics approach, how they go about things and they gloss about it, But you have these old folks in these lifers in the front office. It's like, how are you, what process are you actually conducting? And let me make this clear too, because there's another point I want to go off of besides this, but obviously we'll take it segment by segment and whatnot. Is Luca, how many times have I been right about the whole Trent Grisham contract year nonsense?
You've been pushing it the entire season, and I said so too. You so more than I do, but you were absolutely right about that.
If it wasn't for Judge getting hurt, they should have traded him, but they didn't. That's a separate issue. Cody Bellinger, he was a total flop in the playoffs. But aside that for 1 second, I brought this up around the trade deadline because we saw the downturn with Luke Weaver, and we're gonna see it next year. Why everyone likes to tout of these pro Cashman people? Likes to tout, he found Clay Holmes and he found this guy. Yeah, where's the expiration date? Because it's very visible. Within a year, they rot because they are so tied to their bullpen. It's not even funny. Luke Weaver was the biggest example this year. How many years ago was it Clay Holmes when, in the intro, Donald's ranting on Clay Holmes, but it's true, right? They would, whether it was overusing him or not, and, he's a Met now, but I'm just keeping that in mind. Like these little wins that they take are not even wins.
Can I also add, Alex? You were talking about the Yankees front office. I have the graphic here. Brian Cashman has been with the Yankees organization since 1986.
That's absurd.
Gene Afterman has been with the Yankees. She's currently the.
You want to share it? We can share it.
Absolutely, that's that's what I'm here for.
How about Mike Fishman? That great snobby.
I hate that little turd.
Up in the air nose moron.
I hate that turd. I seriously hate that turd.
There you go.
Never have I ever.
1986, Brian Cashman. Gene Afterman, who is she loves her. So Brian Cashman, 2001. You guys remember that article that Gene Afterman had?
Yeah.
She called fans like awful names in order to protect Brian Cashman. And what did she call Brian Cashman? Like a god or something like that? Anyway, Mike Fishman, 2005. 2007, Tim Nearing. Oppenheimer, 2001. Kevin Reese, 2007. Okay, guys. Which ones of that list should stay in their jobs? None.
Zero.
Not at all. No, but I don't. There is no reason. You know, it's funny is that you look at we talk about accountability all the time, and I'll reference two different teams, right? I mean, we're all Knicks fans. The Knicks moved on from Tom Thibodeau after they reached the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years?
25 years.
25 years. And then a few years ago, the Astros, they got rid of their GM after yeah. And then their entire front office was pretty much like wiped. And they still had new people. Meanwhile, the Yankees, again, with this new analytics approach and nonsense, they have those lifers in the front office, which, again, I don't understand is, thank you, Real Boshek, for talking about it, but that's, it's also, which kind of comes full circle.
Right.
Is, Luca was talking about Brian Cashman's quote about how the media holds the media in the market, they hold the Yankees accountable so we don't have to.
Right, that was crazy.
The media doesn't hold the Yankees accountable.
No, they don't.
I don't. Listen. I get on one side. I think his name is Jason Zillow.
Two guys. I would say Chris Kirshner and Joel Sherman.
That's
it.
I could agree with you there. It's at best two, and I get it. Listen, PR is PR. I deal with those people. Jason Zillow is apparently a prick, but I mean, you got Andy Martino and all these other different people like carrying water for this organization constantly. And you could just tell who's carrying water and who's attacking the fans. And again, that, as I said before, comes full circle, because if you have that type of attitude, no matter if the fans decide, you know what, screw this team, they're not to my standards anymore, they're in a perfect spot for tourism, right? They could lower their ticket prices, not even just because maybe the Yankees aren't doing as good, but let's just say it's maybe $20 or $40 to get in. Those tourists are going to pay those tickets, and then you'll have a full stadium, or maybe like a decently full stadium. But like Lucas said, the stadium atmosphere will suck, right? But we were talking about that game we went to in May. That was disgraceful. I have never seen that before. So I just wanted to bring up a few points.
No, I mean, listen, it is a tourist destination now, and I can testify to that, because when you get into international arrivals at JFK, there's a big fucking art piece of the Bronx Yankee Stadium. Big fucking Yankee Stadium right there. So for those that are just arriving in New York, they're like, Yankee Stadium. Oh, this logo, this NY. Oh, let's go and see what they're all about. It happens, and I'm not shitting on them because it's great. I want them to love baseball. I want them to get into the Yankees. I want them to do that. But the truth is, the Yankees don't care. No. They do not care that they might push us out, because there will always be somebody taking that seat. Oh, they don't care if they don't know about anything about baseball, because all they care about is whoever paid for that seat. As long as they paid for that chicken bucket, And as long as they pay for a 99 jersey and
Yankee hat.
a fucking Austin Wells burrito, then they don't really fucking care.
Don't forget
And
the Team
that's
Reunion
why,
Cup.
and that's why I truly believe the atmosphere was putrid this year. Now, it was very good against the Red Sox in that series. It was fucking loud. It was great. But by and large, the atmosphere was putrid this year. It was dead. And I think a lot of fans have been just sort of like, it's incredibly expensive. And I can't guarantee that they're going to show up in this game. Because that's what I was thinking that would stop me from going to games. I was thinking, I mean, I have no idea if they're going to be bothered to even play in this game today. And who knows, maybe they'll even fucking play fucking Pablo Reyes and lose us a game just for the sake of it. And it, for any smart person, they'll be like, I could just sit at home and watch that. I mean, do I want to pay really good money to watch a really shitty product? No. And it was only a good product in September when they needed to win. Otherwise, they would have missed the playoffs entirely. So there's so many problems here.
Can I say real?
Yeah,
I hate to cut you off, Donald, but the only person who called this out, and this is something you guys might not know this, maybe Donald, you know this. I think Alex knows about this. In that Red Sox series, and once again, I hate the Red Sox, Boston hater, whatever. The Yankees decided to ban mostly Red Sox fans from the state of Massachusetts, the New England area, from purchasing tickets. You can only purchase tickets if you're in Jersey, New York, or Connecticut. That is disgraceful, number one. That's the same thing that the Carolina Hurricanes did to the New York Rangers. That is the same thing that the Philadelphia 76ers and the Detroit Pistons in back-to-back years tried doing to the New York Knicks fans, even though they traveled. But more about that. That's like, that was trying to, I don't want to say like, there's a certain word I'm trying to, like, they're trying to self-create, manufacture an atmosphere. You shouldn't be banning I know we're talking about
It's vile, bro.
It's vile.
Vile.
You should never do that. And Mike Francesa was the only guy to call this out. He ripped the Yankees before Game 1 for doing this policy. And Mike Francesa, I get it. He's long in the tooth. You could say he's past his prime.
I love Mike Francesa.
He's doing his podcast. Literally, he said, I think during the regular season, the only thing the Yankees care about is filling out seats, especially in the suite boxes.
Thank you. And are you telling me that because Pete is out of state, that he isn't a fucking enormous Yankee fan and shouldn't have the opportunity to go to that game? Right? Are you saying that me out of state, sometimes out of the country, if I wanted to go to that game, I wouldn't be able to go to that fucking game? Are you saying that my two fucking co-hosts here out of state, if you wanted to go to the game, couldn't go to the fucking game? That's fucking disgusting. Who the fuck do you guys think you are? It's true. Who the fuck do you think you are? You think just because you live in New York that you're a bigger fan? Fuck out of here. There's plenty of gigantic Yankee fans in Florida, in fucking Tennessee, in Virginia. Some are abroad. They should have the opportunity to go to a playoff game if they want to go to a playoff game. That's disgusting. But they do not care about us. And that's why I've checked out. Do you know how sad it is that I just didn't fucking care? I cared, but I didn't really react. They had a good game yesterday. I didn't react because it was always in the back of my mind that they were going to lose tonight. And then they played today, and then we lost, and it was like, well, that's a fucking shame, but that's the end of the season. And I remember it wasn't that long ago where the Yankees losing used to personally hurt me. Like, the Yankees getting knocked out of the playoffs used to take me out for months. I'd be upset. That would be like a depression. It would be like a cloud hanging above my fucking head. And I would be sick. And I would be mad. And I'd want the Yankees to feel that sadness. And I want the Yankees to feel that anger. But instead, they don't fucking care. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about anybody about themselves. That's it. They just don't care. And that's why I can't love them like I used to. I used to love them deeply. Deeply love them. Now, obviously, I'm passionate about them and I will talk about them for days, year long. But that deep, passion, I'd run through a wall for them? No, because they treat me with nothing but disrespect as a fan. And I'm tired of it. Healing Men's Hearts is in Missouri. You wouldn't be able to go, my friend. That's disgusting. Treating fans like that. Honestly, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this organization. It is a pathetic organization. And we really need to call it out because they are a great organization, but they're being run pathetically, and it needs to change. We have so many people in the chat, and it's only right that we get into some of these comments because we also have some other things we need to talk about. We also need to talk about what the Yankees' plan is. Now, that might be for future podcasts, but we'll try and run through some of that, and then we'll maybe go through some individual players that you maybe want to see stay or go. To be fair, I don't give a fuck. A lot of them could go as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Like 75% of them could go, and I really wouldn't bat an eyelid. TC Steele's in the chat. What a pathetic way to go out. Offense took the night off and pretty much the series. That's exactly what I would describe it as, man. It was pathetic. That's my thought. I watched that game. I thought it was a whimper. I thought the energy was terrible. Hello, Aaron Boone. I thought the energy was terrible. I thought they were off. I don't think that they were into that game at all. Jazz Chisholm was not even involved. Anthony Volpe. Honestly, I can still fucking get the whiff from all those swings and misses from here. Honestly, he could change the weather with the amount of whiffs that he took. Pathetic. And Aaron Boone defended him to the end. Right out of the playoffs. Pathetic. They have no plan. Absolutely. Healing Men's Hearts is pissed. Literally no one should show up on opening day, but they will sell out regardless. Absolutely. The tourism tickets saved this franchise from fan protests. Another one who saved the franchise from fan protests is the DJ. That DJ needs to get paid over fucking time, man. With all those stupid Italian music to protect Anthony Volpe, to drown out all the boos and
the whale noises.
And the whale noises and the fucking Star Wars noises and the weird noises and the all kinds of strange noises. It's like a baby getting a hold of a soundboard. That's what the Yankee Stadium DJ was, just like all the fucking game long. It's fucking absurd. I mean, listen, I'm up for a good time, but that was just obscene. And a lot of it was to drown out fans who are pissed off. Let's be honest. Took the atmosphere right out. Got Uncle Tats. We love Uncle T. What you doing, T? Alex, I said to Luke and Donald the other day, Cashman is an active GM, but not necessarily a good one. Yeah. Very astute. Healing Men's Hearts. This organization literally is rotting from the head down to the tail. It's totally rotted out. Thanks to Hal. Starts from the top. If Hal is absent, then what need is there for Brian Cashman to make any changes? If Hal isn't pressing any changes, why would Brian Cashman make any changes? He's got everything right. He's got a cushy job for life. He's got his best buddy and puppet as manager, right? That does everything that he wants him to do, right? He's got it made, Brian Cashman. What it would be like, and that's what Hal does. He just goes, "Oh, you guys go and audit yourselves and figure yourselves out." All they did is just confirm their own bias. That is why this organization is completely lost. They audit themselves, and all it did is confirm their own bias. That's ridiculous, man. That's so stupid, honestly.
I'll say this for the record, and I obviously we have more comments to get to, and if you want to hear Alex talk a little bit more.
Yeah.
Whether you like Girardi or not is not the principle of the point. The biggest turning point of this organization was arguably 2017 after the season.
Oh, that was the turning point, 100%.
The team wins the wild card. They beat the Twins. They're down 2-0 versus the Cleveland Indians, now Guardians. Obviously, after the big walk-off win they had, and obviously there was controversy around the whole hit-by-pitch thing, whether the Yankees should challenge that, whatever. They come back from 2-0. They win that series with heart, with passion, with pride. They took the Astros, yes, the cheating Astros, to a Game 7. They were up 3-2. Unfortunately, they didn't seal the deal. But if you look at the expectations for that season, many analysts and fans did not expect them to be within one game of the World Series. Within one game. Can I say this for the record? I said this in the chat on Monday. That is the last time I actually and thoroughly enjoyed watching a Yankees
Me
team.
too.
Thoroughly watched. That was a combination of veterans like Matt Holliday, Brett Gardner, you can name it, and young players like Gary Sanchez, Luis Severino, very young Aaron Judge, and all these different cats. They fought for the same goal. There was accountability. There was good coaching. Remember, guys? Rob Thompson, Tony Pena. Imagine how he would help Austin Wells right now instead of this stupid approach. But 2017 was a whole mindset change. And I'll say this for the record. I loved Girardi when I was growing up as a kid because that's all I knew who was Yankee manager. For the record, Alex could say the same too because I started watching baseball in 2011. I didn't want him fired. And that was a whole take. I was like, I don't want Girardi fired. I think you should stay another year or two, then you evaluate. The Yankees fired Girardi. They decide not to give him the contract extension. Okay. My problem, wasn't so much firing Girardi. It was why you fired him. Look at how this organization is different now as opposed to 2017. You actually had him. And again, Girardi was not perfect. I'm not saying that.
No.
Girardi was strategic. He made logical decisions. Again, he wasn't perfect, but he made baseball decisions with baseball in mind. He was hardly favoritism. He knew when to hold players accountable. Now you see non-logical baseball decisions. Yeah. You have the front office and Aaron Boone. No preparation. Clint Frazier talking about it. The analytics guys, how they're running the team essentially, and they're Aaron Boone, and they meets with the analytics team to meet with the lineup, and then no accountability. That 2017 offseason set a precedent for a very bad precedent for what this team is now. And I said this on Twitter today. Aaron Boone keeping Anthony Volpe in with 3 strikeouts is exactly. Let me pull up the tweet exactly because I want to quote myself, and then I want Alex to talk a little more. Let's see. Let me pull up this tweet. Give me 1 second. I apologize. The fact that the Yankees are riding and dying with Anthony Volpe and his mere incompetence to their demise symbolizes every wart in this organization.
No, I completely agree. Alex, where are you, man, with this? Like, how would you change this? What would be your first move that you would make?
Oh, I would wipe everything clean. I would hire a president of baseball operations. Let me ask a question because I know she was with the Marlins last time. Where's Kimming?
Unemployed, right?
I don't think she's employed. I'm going to look at that.
Yeah, unemployed, I believe.
Okay. I would look to – so here's the thing. I would look at her as a president of baseball operations, and then she hires everyone. And then that kind of just like, it flows down. And then unfortunately, Skip Schumacher's now a Rangers manager. But if that would have been a realistic option for me, she's running the new women's league. Oh, I didn't know that. But yeah, I would get somebody in here to be a president of baseball operations. That's just my personal opinion. And wipe the slate clean. Jeter, yeah, I would. I wouldn't make him GM. I think he would be a good.
He wouldn't want the GM job anyway.
Yeah, I think and people would hate this, but I would salivate at it. I would love A-Rod to have a role in this organization, to kind of give it to Cashman, because Cashman obviously he hates A-Rod. He gave Joey Gallo and Jazz Chisholm A-Rod's number, and A-Rod has criticized the Yankees so much. When he was first mentioning how bad the Joey Gallo trade was, I was like, you know what? This guy's analysis is just great. And then, people were going off on him. It was all great. But one thing I want to bring up that Luca was kind of alluding to just a little bit. Let's look at those 2013 and 2014 Joe Girardi teams. Do we understand that those were some of the worst talented Yankee teams I've ever seen?
Awful.
Every one of those cats, outside of some of the guys from 2009, 2010, 2011, were cast-offs and past their prime players. Travis Hafner, Kelly Johnson, why am I missing one?
The Greek god of walks.
Kevin Youkilis, Brian Roberts. I mean,
was Ichiro there?
Ichiro was there. Yes,
He was traded for in 2012.
he was traded for in 2012. But those teams were over 500 every year. You put those same teams in front of Aaron Boone, and they're not over 500. Like I know that I think you guys were talking about it on Monday. He got Juan Soto. He got Garrett Cole. He got this guy. He got Cody Bellinger. Now, granted, Cody Bellinger decided not to show up in the playoffs, but how much more does he need to be a successful manager?
Boone himself said this is the best team he's ever managed.
And did nothing.
And how did it work out? We got humiliated.
By it, it's one thing if we get humiliated by like a really good team or whatnot, and I understand the Blue Jays beat us. But for the last few years, Yankee fans, including myself, and I'm not saying to like beat on myself, but within the last few years, clowning Vlad Guerrero Jr., clowning the Blue Jays because they would always be the regular season champs and then never make it to the playoffs, or they'd be one and done in the playoffs. Now they're going to go face, I don't know what the result, of the Mariner-Tiger series is going to be, but they're going farther than we are, right? And we're just spinning in that same circle.
That's it. We were spinning in a circle, and that's the problem. And they need to get off of it, but they refuse to because Hal Steinbrenner doesn't press them to do so. And as I said, Brian Cashman is incredibly cushy. I think he's pretty good at his job, but to be honest, his one blind spot is his biggest problem, his ego. He's a smart man. He knows that if you fired Aaron Boone, then he knows then it's going to make him look bad because he's the one that pushed for Aaron Boone. He's the one that's been extending him, giving him multiple extensions. Truth is, Aaron Boone's failed. Aaron Boone's failed spectacularly. Aaron Boone has given you no championships. He is a big part of this. He's given you no championships. And as he says here, I don't want the players to like the manager. I need them to perform and respect him. They don't respect him. They love him as a person. He seems like a lovely guy. I don't doubt that. He seems like a great guy. Seems like a really good person. But I don't need that as a manager. That's not your job. It shouldn't be your job. Men won't perform for cocks. I keep saying this and nobody hears me. I hear you. We all hear you on this pod. Absolutely agree, man. That's the truth. But of course the players love him. He blows smoke up everyone's ass. He called Anthony Volpe elite this season multiple times. I mean, of course Anthony Volpe loves him. Who wouldn't? Because every other manager wouldn't play you. Every other manager in the league wouldn't even fucking go near you. Aaron Boone literally sacrificed this season to keep you happy. Of course you're going to love him. Jazz Chisholm loves him. They're like texts all the time. I don't know if he still loves him after he got benched in the fucking game 1 of the playoffs, but during the regular season, loved him. Why? Because he puts up with his antics. No one else would have put up with your antics. The Marlins didn't like his antics. He was incredibly unpopular in the locker room. You wonder why. Right? No wonder fucking players love him. Aaron Judge and him are best pals. I don't know how much Garrett Cole loves him, to be fair. I've never really heard him compliment him too much. But that's another thing. But let's be honest here. Who are the leaders? Like Aaron Boone aside, right? Who are the leaders? Who are the winners in this roster? Who are the leaders and who are the winners? Here are the leaders. Big G. He's the only vocal leader, right? The only one. Garrett Cole, I think, would be two if he wasn't hurt. Mm-hmm. But let's just stick with Big G for now. He's the only vocal leader in that locker room. You can't win like that. Aaron Judge is the captain, but he isn't a vocal captain. And that's fine because you had attack dog, Jeter's attack dog in Posada. But there is no attack dogs in this locker room.
They're attack puppies.
But yeah. Jazz Chisholm, is he a winner? He was yawning all the way through the fucking game yesterday. He made an error that knocked us out of the fucking playoffs this year. Right, tonight. He's not a leader. You know what I'm saying? Austin Wells. What did Austin Wells do with the bases loaded after the Yankees put together some quality at-bats to load the bases and set up a situation where they might tie this game? What did Austin Wells do? Swung at the first pitch. Weak fly out, can of corn, left field. Didn't work. I don't even know why he was up, to be honest. I didn't want him up in that spot. I would have had Dominguez, and then you could have used the third catcher, or swapped Ben Rice over there, and had him catch. You could have done that. You could have done a double sub, but I didn't want Austin Wells in that spot, and that was why. Fucking terrible at bat, joke at bat, one pitch. There's no leaders here. I mean, Cam Schlitter is actually a leader. He's a rookie. He's the only guy that put the team on his back. He's a rookie. That says it all. It says it all that Big G was the only guy that's fronting these meetings. Where's Aaron Boone? He's sitting there like a little baby. A little pacifier in his mouth. Fucking baby. What a fucking baby. Honestly, there's just no leaders here, but there's no winners either. Who's won a championship on this roster?
Besides Cole, that's a tough question.
No, Cole
I'm going to look at that.
Cole hasn't even won a World Series.
Oh, my bad.
Max Fried with the Braves.
That's it. That's literally it.
Cody Bellinger with the Dodgers, right?
I think he was. I'll double check if he was on that 2020 team. Technically,
he's a sorry sack of shit. After this,
technically, he did win the World Series in 2020
by proxy.
Still two. Any can we raise from two?
I'm gonna try to go positionally, right? Austin Wells, no. First base, Ben Rice, no. Not even Goldschmidt, no. Jazz Chisholm, no. Anthony Volpe, no. You know what Anthony Volpe said after the game? He was shocked that the Yankees got eliminated.
What a fucking asshole.
Third base, Ryan McMahon.
I'm shocked he's a baseball player. That's what I'm shocked at.
Third base, Ryan McMahon, no.
Job.
No.
Left field, Grisham, Bellinger, Judge, no championships. You go to there's nobody on the bench that's a champion per se. So you go to the starting pitching. It's Cole, Rodon, Fried, Heel. There's nobody there. Schlittler obviously has not even won. Fried's one. And obviously the other one was Cody Bellinger. So we have two.
Cole didn't win one with the Astros?
No, because Cole came there in 2018. That was the year after they won their World Series in 2017.
Okay. And nobody in the bullpen. I can think of Duvall. Did Duvall win?
No, not Duvall.
Nope. That's it then. Great. It says it all. It says it all. That is really sad. 2 World Series winners. And then you go through that coaching staff. Aaron Boone, Mr. Cuck himself. I've been trying my whole life for a World Series. Baby. Right? He's won nothing. His bench coach.
He sucked as a manager.
Yeah. Tigers, AJ Hinch. Nothing there. And that's it. No one has won in that coaching staff. No one has won on that roster.
Actually, with the exception of one, that would be the bullpen coach Mike Harkey from 2009. But that's it.
That's a long time ago. And by the way, he's one of the only ones that's actually good at his job.
Yeah, I agree.
That's not a surprise. I mean, that's a problem. For me, that would be the first thing that I would attack. I got to get some winners in here. I got to get some winners in this building. Because if you want a locker room that knows what to do in October, you need to get some winners in here. You can't keep just going into the trough and going to Colorado and going to Pittsburgh and going to these places where they win 20 games a year. You need to actually get some winners in the building.
Speaking of Colorado, how's that I forgot about this guy, and I just looked him up on the roster when I was
Jake
looking.
Bird.
Yeah,
Oh,
how's he doing?
It's a great fucking trade. I said at the time,
I did too.
but
Yeah.
nobody fucking listened. I fucking said this guy's dreadful. He's dreadful, and he's gonna get embarrassed. And wow, he got embarrassed. He really got embarrassed. So let's talk about Jake Bird. What a fucking joke. Anyway, let's talk about the offseason ahead. What possible changes would you make? Now, Trent Grisham is first one up on the docket. $22 million qualifying offer. Do you risk offering him that qualifying offer at the risk of him taking it? Because here's some things to pay attention to. If you offer him that qualifying offer, there's a good chance he takes it. $22 million, right? If he takes it, then you're on the hook for this guy, which might not be a good thing considering what he did in the playoffs. He was awful, right? Also, is anyone going to even match that in free agency? Because there are penalties attached to signing somebody that was offered a qualifying offer, obviously, because of MLB's stupid free agency rule. So that might dissuade a lot of teams from offering him a big contract with the risk of losing draft picks and all that shit. I mean, MLB is such a backward organization. But that's what you pay attention to. Otherwise, you let Grisham walk away for nothing by not offering him the qualifying offer, and then you're letting 30 home runs walk out the door without any compensation in return. What do you guys do with that? Do you offer him a QO, or do you let him walk without offering one?
Yeah, I'm not. I will let somebody else give him a qualifying offer or something along those lines. I am not bringing him back. Because even if you do bring him back, right, where are you fitting Jason Dominguez? Where's that going to go? What about Spencer Jones, who was a complete rocket in AAA this year? You got to find a spot for him.
Yep.
And now, obviously, the three of us in the chat could probably figure that out. But the way the Yankees handle their prospects and they hold them so long that they turn into dirt,
yep. Dominguez.
That's not going to happen. Exactly. Jason Dominguez is a prime example.
Oswald Peraza,
another example, who was gone at the deadline. But yeah, no, I'm not offering Trent Grisham. Not after I said it again. He was playing like the contract year type, and then he showed us what type of hitter he is in the playoffs.
No, I agree. I'm actually starting to think you don't offer him the qualifying offer. Luca, what about you?
I would not offer Trent Grisham the qualifying offer. I think at best, when you're talking non-contract year, regular Trent Grisham, regular contract, whatever, regular role, I think he's at best probably a fourth outfielder and probably a third outfielder or whatever on a probably average team. He's at best a third or fourth outfielder. He's not somebody that deserves a vital role every day. Listen, he came up in clutch spots and whatnot during the regular season. The playoffs, he was an absolute zero.
No, nothing.
So, nothing. I would not. No.
30 home runs is hard to dismiss. Like, he was great this year. He wasn't just good, he was great. And he saved the Yankees' ass. So I am not going to sit here and destroy him, but he was awful in the playoffs. And there's so few spots in the lineup that you can realistically upgrade. One of them is that you can realistically upgrade, and one of their names is Kyle Tucker. So that also ties into Cody Bellinger here. Cody Bellinger, there's a strong chance he opts out. Do you extend him, Luca?
Really, I came on here in February and I said I was a fan of the trade because I was, and I thought the Yankees got a steal out of it.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal. He was mostly good during the regular season. You could argue that he was probably robbed of an all-star appearance.
He was, yeah.
Playoffs, you want winners. I don't think he's the guy. I'm sorry. I don't think, and I know it's going to sound like, oh, the postseason, this, that, and the third or whatever. You can't ignore his regular season. His regular season was very good. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah.
The playoffs, he didn't show up. And Donald, you said it. You want winners on this ball club? Bellinger, yes, he had the 2020 World Series. Other than that, what else? He struggled massively against Toronto. Either he was behind on pitches or popping them up or whatever. He wasn't good in the playoffs. He wasn't good. If Kyle Tucker or even Kyle Schwarber gets free, I would chase either of them easily over Bellinger.
Good point. Alex, where about you, man? What would you do with Cody Bellinger?
Yeah, obviously we just talked about the whole outfield situation with Grisham. I'm not bringing him back. I'm going to be honest. I love what he did in the regular season. There's no way to overstate that or understate that. I don't think it's worth the investment. I would put all my marbles in for Kyle Tucker, see where that goes, and you have him. Kyle Tucker. I mean, I understand that. Oh, you're letting Bellinger go, and he had a World Series in him. Well, how many World Series does Kyle Tucker have? At least one or two, right? With the Stros.
He's a winner.
So, and you know what? I see a comment in the chat from Healing Men's Hearts. Put your nuts on the table as if you're the New York Yankees.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
Pause. And go out there, put your marbles on the table and say Kyle Tucker's going to be ours. So, and then maybe the Dodgers can take back Bellinger, the Padres can.
They can't sign everybody.
No, you can't. No.
They can't sign everybody. And it's about time the Yankees actually sign a serious free agent, but they haven't done so in fuck knows how long. Garrett Cole, arguably. They don't sign big time free agents anymore, and it's certainly from that are in terms of offense. So that would be a nice change. I mean, I'm not expecting it because Mr. fucking Hal and his budget. But and by the way, I mean obviously Jacob says here, Kyle Tucker is horrible postseason.
I'm not excusing him, but he's also been dealing with an injury this season.
He's hitting 226 in postseason. He's also gone as far as to say that he's terrible. He's so terrible, he had 136 WRC plus this year, which would be incredibly good for the New York Yankees. And it would really only be behind Aaron Judge. And not too many others, I'll tell you that. And he would hit a Yankee Stadium. Like that right field porch would be quite nice for Kyle Tucker. And the stadium dimensions, I think, would suit Kyle Tucker. And I think Tucker would just ball out. I think it's difficult to play in Chicago. I don't think it's the easiest stadium to play in. I think Yankee Stadium would be significantly easier. So I'm sorry. I would do that. I would definitely do that. I would like that option. Now, the other option is that they don't sign Tucker because they're cheap, right? Maybe they do extend Bellinger, and I'm not going to hate it if they extend Bellinger, because for me, the MVP of the regular season up until Aaron Judge went insane and nuclear through September, but between like June and August, the MVP of the team was actually Cody Bellinger and Big G, but especially Cody Bellinger because he played multiple positions at an incredibly high level. And even tonight, even though he was awful in the playoffs, he was making some great plays over in left field. Like he was great
defensively.
He was great defensively. And so if you brought him back, he could fit in nicely at center field, and have Aaron Judge in right field, and then you're in good shape. And you just need a left fielder. You can bring in Tucker there, or Dominguez is not left fielder. That's cooked. That's cooked. That's totally cooked. But yeah, that's another thing to question. I wouldn't hate it if they extend Bellinger, but it would need to be at a very reasonable price.
Mm-hmm.
But Tucker would be my priority. If they did sign Bellinger, then for me, they need to really invest in first base. And if that means Austin Wells loses his catcher job, then fucking see you later, Wells. I don't give a fuck. Like, you can be a backup to Rice. They need to invest in first base. So here's two options: Murakami, or Pete Alonso.
Okay, was Murakami hurt?
Murakami was hurt most of the year, but then he went pretty nuclear when he got back in the last few weeks of the season. I'll get his numbers up for you guys. So where would you be at with Pete Alonso or Murakami? Let's start with Alex.
I'm kind of leaning Murakami. I mean, since he was brought up a few years ago, I kind of been on that mission.
Yep.
And I'm going to be honest, like, I mean, I don't know what a deal would look like for Pete Alonso. I mean, I think in the regular season he's great. My thing is, what really kind of dissuaded me is towards the end of the season when the Mets were making that run, and he kind of checked out. And Mendoza and Boone aren't that different. I mean, they come from the same tree. So that's what I'm worried about. So my favoritism would lean towards Murakami.
On that note, I've got his numbers here.
Sure.
So in just 69 games, he had 24 home runs and 52 RBIs, 38 walks, 286 batting average, an on-base percentage of 392, slug of 659, and an OPS of 1,051. So obviously, the thing that really jumps out is the OPS of 1,051. That's like freaking stunning. And 24 home runs in 69 games is pretty great. 63 hits in 69 games. So obviously for his career OPS is 945. And his career home runs is 265 home runs, 722 RBIs in 8 seasons. The Japanese league has been great of late. It's been great for talent. It's been an amazing place for talent. The Yankees, for whatever reason, have completely lost the Asian market. One of them, which is their own incompetence. They used to conquer it. They used to corner it because of the Yankee brand, and they had really good scouts over in Japan that they trusted, and they've lost. Partly, they allowed the Dodgers to completely rinse them in every way because A, it's closer to Japan, B, the weather's better, and C, they win.
Yeah, they take it
Winning
seriously.
matters. Winning matters. The Yankees can hate you, us as fans, for saying that and deny it and go, it's not true, it's not true. It is fucking true. If you win, you have a higher chance of getting the best players. It's very simple. That's why you've lost on so much talent. Yamamoto.
Sasaki.
Yoshida.
You can go through it.
Suzuki.
Absolutely. They've lost a ton of talent. I would go after Murakami. However, Issy is right. He has an incredibly high strikeout rate. I believe his strikeout rate is something like 37%. Is a very high strikeout rate. He strikes out a lot. So, I mean, he might be kind of a Kyle Schwarber type where he's going to hit like 35 bombs, but he might strike out 200 times. However, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe with some good coaching, although that doesn't exist with the Yankees. But with good coaching, maybe good coaching, you'd actually become a better player. I like Murakami. I'm a little concerned about the injuries, but those numbers are nothing to scoff at. I mean, having an 1,051 OPS, and I mean, you're going to have someone that's going to hit at worst 30 home runs for you at first base. The Yankees don't have an answer at first base. They're going to say Ben Rice. He's not a good first baseman. I think Ben Rice is a catcher. I stand by that. I don't think he's a very good first baseman. So where are you guys with that, Luca?
let me raise you another one. You mentioned Murakami, you mentioned Alonso. Potential free agent this offseason. They might extend him between how he does in the playoffs or how they're doing in the playoffs. Potential, he was traded this past offseason. Josh Naylor, how would you feel about him?
Ooh,
He is a free agent.
shout.
Potential option. I'm not saying he's my favorite, but I think the numbers he had my only problem is you look at his postseason numbers, they're not great. I obviously have to see how his playoff run goes, but he's had experience with Cleveland, now Seattle, Arizona. Between Arizona and Seattle, his numbers are incredibly similar. Let me read up some stats because I just had it up. Josh Naylor,
Really
I'll
good.
I'll start off with his regular season. So in the regular season between both sides, two teams, 20 home runs, 92 RBIs. Only 83 strikeouts, which was lower than his 2024, which he was an all-star actually. 295 average, 816 OPS, 128 OPS plus, slugging percentage of 462, on base percentage 353. I don't know his weighted runs created plus, but mostly
His
good
OPS
stats.
is 816, which is terrific. And that was his career is 777. 816 is a massive improvement on his career. He's actually getting better. And here's another one that you've not mentioned. 30 stolen bases, Josh Naylor.
Wow.
30 stolen bases.
I would not expect that.
3.1 WAR. That's a great suggestion. And to be honest, I wanted us to sign him in the offseason anyway. I like Goldschmidt, but I didn't want us to sign him because I wanted to get a long-term answer. And I think Josh Naylor is certainly one to consider. That's a great suggestion, man.
Absolutely. So I understand the concerns about Murakami. There's also, as I said, concerns about Naylor. I don't know how he does defensively, but the playoff thing is I'm going to keep an eye on that. But either one of those two I would be satisfied with. I'm not huge on Alonso.
I think he's better defensively than people give him credit for. Because I've seen him make he's a big boy, but I've seen him make a lot of nice plays at first base. Now, if I'm going to interject here, this is a miracle situation if the Yankees got their heads out of their butts. If the Yankees said to Anthony Volpe, "You're not our shortstop anymore," are you getting a stopgap in here? Are you keeping Anthony? Are you getting a stopgap because you want to see what Lombard Jr. does? Are you keeping Anthony Volpe? Or are you keeping an eye on if the Red Sox have the option with Trevor Story?
What I would do is I would sign Ahmad Rosario, and Ahmad Rosario can be your utility bench player because he can play short. He's not a great defender, but he can play short. He can provide some quality at bats against lefties, and make Caballero your everyday shortstop or most day shortstop. You've also got Oswaldo Cabrera that's coming back from injury. He is a better player than Anthony Volpe. Not much difference anyway between the two of them. There's like nothing between them. Honestly, I think he's probably a little bit better than Volpe. So honestly, we would be so much better off just getting Anthony Volpe to fuck. Seriously, get him to fuck. Easy garbage player. He is never going to change.
No.
I know we're getting off it, but I have to say this. He's never going to change. This is who he is. He's going to look good for 2 weeks, and then all the pom-poms and all the fanboys will be like, yes, that's my Volpe. He's so good. He's better than Jeter, right? And then he completely loses his swing, and he loses his swing like this. And not only does he lose his swing, he loses the bat when he swings. That's how pathetic his swing is. Because he swings with his arms and then he loses control of the bat. He does it all the time when he's really bad. And he was really bad. Broke the record for fucking strikeouts. The guy is an abomination. He's horrible and he's arrogant. You hear him in the post-match. You hear him say things like, "I'll do it again. Oh, I'm shocked that we lost. I'm not fucking shocked. You're the big part of it." He's a horrible baseball player. Garbage. I want him gone. I want him fucking gone. But you can make him a bench player if Aaron Boone, continues to need to fornicate with him. But otherwise, there's really no reason for Anthony Volpe to be on this roster.
Facts.
Fucking garbage. I like the Josh Naylor suggestion, bro. But I also think that I know what the Yankees are going to do. I think they're going to go all in and Ben Rice at first base.
I agree with that.
I think they're going to roll it back. I actually think they're going to roll this whole fucking thing back. I do. I could totally see it. Because look at it. Austin Wells, they're all in on Austin Wells. There was no excuse for Austin Wells to catch every single game in the playoffs. They did it anyway. Austin Wells was awful offensively. He had some clutch hits. I'll give him credit for it. But overall, his numbers were awful. But they stuck with Austin Wells. So they're going to keep doing that. There's not going to be any changes there, right? Anthony Volpe, they literally sacrificed this season for this kid. Anthony Volpe cost them the division with his God knows how many errors.
I'd say it was more than just him, but he's the part of it.
But he was a big part of it because they kept tripling and quadrupling down on this kid. He was such a dud. He was one of the worst position players in all of baseball. One of the worst. I think he was in the bottom 3 in all of baseball. So he was an absolute dud, and he was the big reason why the Yankees didn't win the division, which is a big reason why they are out as we speak. So they're all in on this prick. So he's there, secured. Jazz Chisholm, again, he is an all-star caliber player, but there's nothing much going on between his ears. But Brian Cashman sacrificed a lot to bring Jazz Chisholm here, including a very good catcher who's now in Miami. Who killed us in the summer, by the way, in that series. So I don't see Cashman make any move at second. First base, I think they're going to go with Ben Rice. I mean, I love Ben Rice, but I think Ben Rice is a catcher. But I think they're going to do that because it's cheaper. Outfield, Judge is secure and right. Stanton secure at DH. Left field, maybe go with Dominguez. Maybe.
Even though he shouldn't be a left fielder.
He might get traded, though, because I don't think the Yankees like him.
I agree.
And then, maybe they'll go with Spencer Jones or something like that there. And then center field, you could see them going with Cody Bellinger. And they might not offer Grisham a qualifying offer. Maybe make Bellinger their everyday center fielder, and maybe that's it. Maybe they make a couple of small moves, but that Hal Steinbrenner is focused fully on budget. And the rest of the coaching staff is protected because what did Aaron Boone say? I'm under contract. Fuck you prick.
Now, Donald, let me ask, would you accept a possible outfield? Well, this is without Spencer Jones for the moment. Let's just say, he's obviously the highest his value right now. Would you do Judge in right, Dominguez in center, and Bellinger in left?
I'm not sure if Dominguez can play center field. He can't play left. I'm not sure because the Yankees have screwed him up so badly that
he's damaged goods.
That he is a little bit damaged goods. I wouldn't mind seeing him in right field. I'd like to see him in right, but you're not going to take Aaron Judge out of there, obviously. But
no.
Left field is a very difficult place to play at Yankee Stadium. And that's where a lot of Dominguez's problems are. Playing in left field at Yankee Stadium, he doesn't. He really struggles. And in center fielder, you're kind of the command of the outfield. You're captain of the outfield in center field. Do you think Dominguez has the balls to be calling people off? I don't see it.
No.
Plus, up the middle, that's really fucking risky. If you got Dominguez, and then you got Dominguez as the captain of the outfield and Volpe as the captain of the infield, that's disgusting. That is disgusting. That's not going to work. It's not going to work. So to answer your question, no. But it sounds like I don't like Dominguez. I really like Dominguez. I think he's great.
The Yankees.
I just think that the Yankees don't like him. I wanted Dominguez to play. I wanted Dominguez to get an opportunity in these playoffs. Aaron Boone never fucking used him. There was plenty of opportunities for him to use him in the playoffs. There was an opportunity to use him with the bases loaded instead of Austin Wells, and I think that bat would have gone better. There's plenty of at-bats that he could have had instead of Anthony Volpe. He didn't do it. He didn't take that opportunity because he doesn't like Anthony. It's just on Dominguez for whatever fucking reason.
Not even as a pinch runner.
Not even as a pinch runner. Like, I mean, Alex, you're wondering if he was even fucking like breathing. Like, where is he?
Was he alive?
He was on the roster. I didn't even know he was on the roster. Again, a complete misuse of him. So it's sad, but I'm not. He can't play left field. I don't trust him in center field. I would consider him in right field because there's very little responsibility there.
And he doesn't work your arm as much.
Exactly. I think he'd be fine there, but I don't know what they're going to do with Dominguez. I could see trading him for a fucking reliever. I could. I don't know what they're going to do with him because they don't like him. They don't trust him to even play in the playoffs. So what are they going to do with him? You can't progress that way. When his manager doesn't like him, then he can't progress that way. So that's cooked. Spencer Jones will be the next one on the docket, and I fear for him because, to be fair, unless you're a pitcher, the Yankees are where you go to die as a prospect.
Unless you're Anthony Volpe.
He's the exact. He's dead. He's useless. He's completely useless. He's completely cooked. He offers nothing. He is a negative 5-tool player.
Net negative.
He absolutely has no value, Anthony Volpe. So that's their prize prospect. Dominguez, their other prize prospect, doesn't get a fucking game. Honestly, it's not good. Austin Wells, their third prize prospect, dreadful for most of the season, completely abysmal. It's not looking too good for Brian Cashman's prospect.
May I say about Spencer? May I say about Spencer Jones? I think there's a possibility I don't know what would necessarily happen, but it would be so Yankees if they call up Spencer Jones and they have him platoon, where you could see us. Remember this year, they had Grisham, they had Bellinger, they had Judge, Dominguez. Dominguez was their fourth outfielder, barely even used. He was on the MLB roster. I could realistically see a scenario next year, like the Yankees re-sign, I don't know, it could be Bellinger, it could be Grisham, or it could be both, where once again, a top prospect like Jones is going to have his value lowered because he's going to be put in a platoon role. That's
service time too.
Totally
service
agree.
Time, yep.
Totally agree. It's a great point. It's over. Has got a question for us. Good to see you in the chat, my friend. Would you rather invest in Bo Bichette over Tucker? Bichette is a contact-oriented hitter, tough to strike out, consistently puts the ball in play. Where are you going to play him?
Yeah, I don't. In trying to put this in a real life mode, I don't see the Yankees investing anything in shortstop. I think they think Anthony Volpe is the greatest thing in the world. I think he's the greatest. They think he's the greatest thing since popcorn. I like Bichette's bat. I know there was some defensive struggles the last few years. I think he's gotten better, but I don't think I'd have to ask some Blue Jay fans about that because I'm not really in that light. I mean, I still would kind of go.
You got our friend Evan in the chat.
What's up, man?
Let me also say for the record, I would feel better about Bichette next to McMahon, better than Volpe next to McMahon, because McMahon, let's be fairly honest, outside the home run, he really doesn't give you much offense or consistent offense, but he's a great glove.
We actually missed that glove when we subbed him out. It was another L for Aaron Boone.
You can never take that glove away from him. But I would prefer somebody who's a little more offensive-minded at shortstop, who's consistent, and at least average at shortstop, if you get what I'm saying.
You can't afford your entire left side of the infield to be a minus offensively. Yeah. That would be Volpe and McMahon. You can't afford both of them to be on the same lineup. One or the other. Obviously, I prefer McMahon to Volpe, no doubt about it. He's a better glove, and he's a better hitter, Volpe just provides nothing other than just being a prick. So I would love an upgrade there. But Caballero does that job. Caballero's great. But again, you wouldn't know he was on the roster. someone that makes contact, someone that steals 50 bases, someone that can change the game with his bat or his glove. And Aaron Boone was like, "No, I can't play you because you're not my boyfriend." It's fucking absurd. I'm letting all the fucking hang out now. I'm letting it cook. It's late, and I'm like, "Go, let's fucking go."
Golden boy Volpe.
Bichette also has an injury history. He does. But Bichette could play second, but then what are you going to do with Jazz?
Oh yeah. That's not going to go over well.
No, I don't know where Bichette would play, but I think it's a good suggestion because he would be perfect as a leadoff hitter, wouldn't he? He'd be great leading off. Great leadoff hitter. And it would be nice to have an actual leadoff hitter in this lineup, and I do think that was something the Yankees missed, especially in the playoffs. So I think, we're going through the names. Pete Alonso, I would be interested in. It would take away from the Mets, and I think it'd be pretty good. Also be a great power righty bat, which we need. We don't really have enough of that. I would definitely consider that. But I think Kyle Tucker is my guy. I think I would go in on Kyle Tucker.
Donald, I got one quick question. You kind of hit on it just a few seconds ago without going fully into it, and I figured we said probably don't want Christian back, and we probably don't want Paul Goldschmidt back. Who's your leadoff hitter?
We don't have one. I don't know. I mean, who would you consider? I mean, Dominguez is one I would consider because he actually has really good numbers from leadoff spot because he's someone that
speed.
He works deep counts. He's got speed, really fast kid, and he makes contact. But the Yankees hate him, so he's not an option. Who are you going to go? Anthony Volpe. Oh, the -5 tool player, one of the worst players in the history of the game.
No, they'll do Ben Rice. That's going to be it. I
don't think so. Jay Snow, can we please end the Volpe experiment?
I would love that. It's not going to happen.
I would love it. He's so bad. He's arrogant. He's unaccountable. He's the teacher's pet, and he's fucking useless. There's nothing that he offers. What does he offer?
Just taking useless. Up a roster spot. He just takes them.
He's useless.
He's a tumbleweed.
You can say, he's got a glove, but his glove isn't even as good as Caballero's. So he's not that good. Offensively, he's got a little bit of power. Not that much power. He didn't even crack 20 home runs this year. Right. With that turbo fucking stupid bat thing that he has.
Dummy.
And even that didn't work. So, nah, I'm sorry. It's time. Losing Soto hurts this team in ways that you can't calculate.
I'd say it hurted this team in the playoffs. I was talking to Alex before we hopped on. I'm like, Soto, whatever you say, say what you want about a season with the Mets or whatever, and him choosing the Mets, whatever. A lot of fans will gang up on him and clown on him. Where I believed last year it really should have been an evaluation period for not Yankee fans to clown on Soto, but clown on the organization for not winning a World Series with 4 generational players: Stanton, Soto, Colt, and Judge.
Unbelievable.
Soto, get his defensive deficiencies. Would with a actual Aaron Judge good playoff performance, imagine. I know it's like use your imagination, but Soto and Judge in the playoffs together, performing well, imagine what that could have been like. And I'm not saying the Yankees are at fault for losing Soto. That was a really high bidding war. But just think, there is a loss there.
I do think it is the Yankees' fault, but not in terms of the bidding during the winter. They fucked up during the regular season. I mean, you had your prized girlfriend in the building. You're right there. You're guaranteed it for a year. Get to know him. Get your fucking absentee owner in a yacht to go to New York, meet up with Juan Soto during the regular season, take him out for dinner. Speak to him. Get to know him. What does he need? How can we help? How can we help this relationship? You're a family-oriented guy? Well, let's make things cool and comfortable for your family. I mean, it's not a big deal.
They didn't exactly.
That's something that could have been done during the regular season. You don't need to be talking money. You don't need to be talking dollars. But if Juan Soto trusts, I like this owner. He seems like a good guy. Oh, he cares about my family. Seems like a good guy. Oh, he wants me to be a part of the future. All right, I'm in. Then, when it does come to a situation where the Mets offer one more year and maybe $30-40 million, then he'd be like, well, to be honest, I think that the Yankees really care about me. I think I'll stick with the Yankees. But Hal admitted he had no relationship with Juan Soto. He didn't bother. He didn't meet him. He didn't talk to him at all during the regular season. That is an L. Brian Cashman did nothing. Nothing at all. That's an L. You fucked that up. You fucked that up.
I don't know if you mentioned it, Donald, during the trade deadline, but I'd certainly mention this. What made me a little, I don't want to say angry or irate, but it was like kind of hypocritical was the Yankees, you could say, kind of went all in on 2025. But with Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, they did not go as much all in as they did this deadline. Let's call it what it is. It was Jazz Chisholm and who else that they added last year? Could be wrong. I could be missing some names, but they didn't exactly go all in last year. And you're
spot on, man. That's
the problem. And then you know what? That's also another problem, right? We talked about Spencer Jones, Jason Dominguez, development, all this stuff. Half pregnant philosophy, trying to do two things contradictory at once. That's why you have log jams at positions like the outfield.
Dude, who's our cleanup hitter last year?
Wasn't it Stan or was it not? I could be wrong.
You're gonna laugh.
Jazz.
Wasn't Volpe.
Alex Verdugo, who doesn't have a fucking team.
Jesus.
They went all in on Alex Verdugo.
Yeah, he doesn't have a fucking team. No one signed him. He was at the Braves for a while. He was fucking dreadful.
That was my problem, though. They didn't go all in. They knew Verdugo was a problem.
Right. They were stuck with that Verdugo because he was buddies there and Judge. Issy, Soto left for a reason. I personally think it has to do with the lack of toughness and the favoritism that turned Soto off. He simply doesn't fit with these yes men and beta manager. I agree. It's not a popular take because obviously it's popular to hate on Soto. Soto is a useless right fielder, but we missed that bat. And I guarantee if Juan Soto was playing instead of Cody Bellinger in this series, the Yankees would be going to the ALCS. There's no question about it.
He sent the Yankees to the World Series last year with one of the greatest at-bats I've ever seen watching the team live.
It was one of the great moments. It's one of the moments I'll always remember because we were all calling it together.
Yes.
It was incredible at-bat. It was one of the best I've ever seen. And it was a great moment. And then you saw how much it meant to him. He was just like, let's fucking go. Who did that for this team this year? Nothing. There was no moments this year. There was one moment, and it was the one moment was Aaron Judge hitting that foul pole. And that was yesterday. There's been no moments that you go, oh, it was a great, great game. Great game. Great moment. None of that happened this year. All of it happened with Juan Soto last year.
Jay Snow is right. The Yankees also acquired De Los Santos and Mark Leiter Jr. That was their acquisition too.
Oh, that was pathetic. That was horrible. They did nothing. What a waste. And it was also a complete lie because Brian Cashman's like, oh, it was all hands on deck. Stay tuned, he said, after they brought in Juan Soto. He's like, oh, we know that we're blessed to have a Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. He says it would be a crime if they don't win a World Series, so we're going to go all in on them. He didn't do anything. They signed Marcus Stroman after that. That was it. It was a dreadful, dreadful, dreadful miss. And it has reverberated into this season. It has. They should have been able to tie down Juan Soto. They should have. Now, they did well to pivot, to be fair to them. They pivoted very well. Talent wasn't a problem, but they missed his heart and they missed his quality in the playoffs. They missed that quality of at-bat. They missed that toughness. I can't account for what he did in the Mets, but the Mets are the Mets. I mean, all well in the world. The teams that we all root for, the Jets and the Giants, do fantastically well at murdering talent. So
Oh yeah.
it doesn't really surprise me that he didn't have a great year in the Mets, because that tends to be what the Mets are. No, no shade on any Met fans that are watching, but let's be honest, I don't think they're too much different than like a Giants or the Jets, where no matter how good you are, you're never going to really fully succeed playing for these organizations. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
about Soto this year, actually, which we could have valued, obviously, his play in the postseason or whatnot. 38 stolen bases, 43 home runs, 127 league leading walks, and the highest on base percentage in baseball.
Really? Well, he still did his job. He had an okay year, but he was awful in right field, to be fair. And
Oh, yeah.
That's the biggest issue.
that was the toughest place to play, right field in Citi Field. Evan, I disagree here. Aaron Judge was great, but didn't show up in the clutch. I mean, he actually was really good.
If he's
These last
talking about
couple-
last year, well, no, he
Oh,
wouldn't
right.
even be talking about last year. Maybe he
Oh,
is
okay.
talking about last year. I don't know.
I think he's referring to this year. If you're referring to this year, I disagree. He had a really good numbers. Problem wasn't Aaron Judge this year. Normally is. It wasn't. He did his job. No one else did. Although that game one strikeout certainly hurt. It was series changing. I'm not going to lie. But, I mean, he kind of made up for it yesterday. And he did everything he could today. Just the rest of the team. What I picked up from that game today, they just weren't interested.
No.
They just didn't seem interested. And that's such a letdown.
Heartless.
But I think it's honestly true that the fans care more than the team does.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're talking for over 2 hours about this fucking awful team. That shows our commitment. We do our job. We do our part. But they don't do theirs. This was an elimination game. They didn't look that interested. Like, it was a pathetic bunch of at-bats. And the numbers are startling. They had over 50 hits, the Blue Jays. We had like 34.
I think it was like 50 to 32, I think.
Yeah, 50 and 32, right? They had, how many runs did they have?
I think it was 34 to 18 or something like that.
34 to 18. And what was the difference in ERA? They had our ERA was 10 plus for starters. There was a sub 160.
Savage struck out 11 batters after 4 innings.
Their batting average was 350 something. Our batting average was 220. We got humiliated by the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays didn't beat us. They humiliated us. They embarrassed us. And if they want to play New York to make fun of us, good for them. They had every right to. I don't care. They had every right to do it.
In the words of Bobby Bacala from The Sopranos, to the victor belongs the spoils.
Facts. Exactly. I don't care. The Yankees show no heart. So if the Blue Jays want to celebrate on our field, fucking go ahead. We did nothing to stop them. They had every opportunity over that 9 innings to do something. They couldn't do anything during a bullpen game. I think the Blue Jays have a better manager. The star on the field was Vlad Guerrero. He was the star. Then they had good guys like Clement, and then they had guys, role players. Also, another thing that I noticed about the Blue Jays to sign off, because we haven't talked about the Blue Jays actually destroying us, so I think we should close out there in fairness to them. Their quality of at-bats for runners in the scoring position was so good. They were always hitting the ball the other way, or they were always hitting it the opposite way in order to get that runner advanced, to get that runner home. They just had smart at-bats. Always. Whatever it took to get that runner home, that was their at-bats. They would do that. The Yankees, on the other hand, it was the same approach. Austin Wells trying to swing through his roof. Jazz Chisholm trying to swing off the roof. Volpe trying to swing off the roof. Everybody was trying to swing through their shoes, and they're not good enough to do it. Ironically, one of the only people to have actual contact at bats, ironically, was actually Aaron Judge. He had a pretty fucking solid approach at the plate. He got on base. Everybody else let him down. They were all swinging out of their fucking shoes. Awful at bats. Volpe was the worst. None of them changed their approach. Even Bellinger, who normally has a great two-strike approach, he was swinging out of his shoes. It was a really horrible. And then again, Aaron Boone took a massive L because he never played Goldschmidt, and Goldschmidt has a very good approach with runners in scoring position. I think we missed a beat not playing him this series. But the Blue Jays, their approach was better, their pitching was better, and they humiliated the Yankees. They didn't beat us. They humiliated us. They embarrassed us. They outplayed us. Everything about them was better managed, just a better team, better leader. Vlad's a much better leader than any leader that we have. They deserve it. We didn't deserve it. They did. They deserve it over the course of the year. We didn't deserve it. We didn't deserve to win the division. They did. We didn't deserve to advance to a Game 5, and we certainly wouldn't have deserved to have won the series. The Blue Jays did. So my congratulations to the Blue Jays. Now, I don't like Canada, but Toronto, congratulations. You fully deserve it, and my hat's off to you. And I hope you guys go and win it all. I really do. I think you've got a really good team, good manager, classy guy, and the Blue Jays are everything the Yankees aren't, i.e., accountable and good. Final thoughts, Alex.
Yeah. Quick thought on the Blue Jays. Donald was talking about, how their approach was much better hitting wise. I know Aaron Judge had that 3-run homer, but they seemed to pitch pretty well around him. And it was like both sides knew what they were doing, right? The Blue Jays won some battles and Aaron Judge won some battles. You didn't see that with the Yankees and Vlad Guerrero Jr. Throughout the series, you did not see that. So I could only imagine how much of a pin in the coffin Bo Bichette would have been had he been healthy this series. We may not have been live tonight. We may, Donald maybe would have been live yesterday because maybe there was a pin in the coffin. So congrats to the Blue Jays. Personally, I will not be rooting for them. I love the Tigers and the Mariners. Like they're
good team.
Because that's like I was looking at the Yankees series and I'm like, this game's this series, I know how it's going to end. But then it's just like the Tigers and the Mariners are good, two feel-good teams that are going back. And the Tigers, seeing after, how many years they haven't been in the playoffs. And the Mariners, the same thing. So I want one of those teams to kind of make it to the World Series. But
yeah, no, I agree. And also, I don't want a Canadian team to win.
Oh, yeah. Neither do I. It's just like awful. But the Yankees never change. Yankees, it's the same nonsense we've been talking about since 2018, bigger glorified since 2020. And you guys know, year after year after year, all these content creators and these fans go through these cycles about, they're going to win the World Series. And then next time it's like, the Yankees suck, fire everybody. Well, I'm glad to say that Donald and Tats and Sierra and Lynn and Rob, they give it to you straight. And, it's nice. Sometimes it's nice to have a differing opinion, but it's also nice to be with people who are actually honest about the take. So I appreciate that element, but I mean, for just
I think my prediction was that the Yankees would lose in the DS. I even at the start of the year, I think it was. I think they'd lose in the DS or lose the wild card. It was always I said that they'd make the playoffs, but I said they would never go any further than the DS. Like they would never make the CS. So spot on.
Yeah. I mean, credit to you on that. I don't know if I even had a prediction. I think I had the Yankees maybe winning the division, but not going far, just because I didn't know the Blue Jays would have this type of year. But credit to them. Yankees aren't going to change. Keep it here for the content and keep for Pinch Up Chronicles. And thank you for the chat, sticking out till 1:30 in the Eastern time zone to help, I would say help us cope with this nonsense.
Absolutely. And it's cool that we've got a consistent number, almost 60 people in the chat, consistently watching us since the start of this podcast. Says a lot to how you guys' commitment to.
Yeah.
Luca, your final thoughts, my friend.
Final thoughts. Great talk overall. Great talking with the chat with you, Donald. Of course, thank you for inviting us on. 2 hours into this, nearly 2.5 hours. Great therapy session. But once again, we're spinning. You know, we as Alex is right. You guys are consistent, as in the Pinstripe Chronicles podcast and Upper Deck. You guys make great talking points. You're consistent. You're honest. But once again, as fans, we're talking about the same cycle over and over again with the Yankees. Nothing's going to change. I know there's like one fan as I said, I debated with that they think Aaron Boone's going to get fired tomorrow. He won't, because once again, the problem comes down to this. If you notice there's a problem, you will make changes. If you don't think there's a problem, you'll see no reason to make changes. The Yankees, like, they say their method to their stupid madness is why if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So unfortunately, I don't think things will change. And you know what? Over the past 2 years, Donald's right. You know, the Yankee teams have been talented. But right now, as it stands, you could get hyped for Kyle Tucker. You could get hyped for Aaron Judge. You could get hyped for any free agent that comes in this building. The results won't change until there is a complete fire sale of leadership. Until Aaron Boone is gone, until Brian Cashman's relieved of his duties, which will never happen, unfortunately, until the entire system is cleaned out. I apologize for coming down Debbie Downer. We could get hyped for Bellinger, as I did this offseason. You could get hyped for all these free agents, trades, whatever, prospects. It's the same system. It's the same movie, but different characters and members of the players. But it's the same director. And I said this last year. It's the same directors. It's the same people running the same script in the same movie. So that's going to happen with the Yankees. Like, as Donald, you're absolutely right. You said in the beginning, you're apathetic. You're like, you're basically, you have no reason to get mad anymore because you've seen the same stuff over and over again. You know they don't care. They're not going to change.
You know the ending. Like, it's just like, you know,
it's watching. Ending. Rob mentions it. I haven't watched the movie Friday the 13th, but he's like, it's watching the same Friday the 13th movie over and over and over again.
Now it's just like Jurassic World. Every movie is the same.
Once again, I just want to.
Some people plucked on an island and dinosaurs chase you. That's it. And the ending's always the same. Everybody's happy. And it's the same here with the Yankees. I mean, it'll be a different name, different cast, different script, but the ending is exactly the same. Exactly the same.
Once again, thank you.
Unmitigated failure. And there's no nuance to failure. There's no fucking nuance.
Once again,
nuance.
Once again, I'd like to thank the chat, of course, and Donald for inviting me and Alex on collectively.
Yes, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. Alex, good luck with all the awesome professional stuff that you're doing. Luca, I'm excited about what you're doing down there. And I'm also excited to do some Knicks content with you this year.
Absolutely.
So y'all in the chat, if you guys like the Knicks
cast,
we will absolutely sub up to Knicks cast. Should be a lot of fun. And here with the Yankified, you're always going to get it straight and honest. And any breaking news, any kind of big talking point, I'll be on. And we should definitely get the boys in the Big Apple back again in the future, because it's been an absolute blast to share the airwaves again with you back in the day, because it was so much fun. So my love to those brothers. Thank you, guys. Till next time, bless up. To everyone in the chat, for a full year of this, you guys have been so loyal. You guys have watched every episode. You guys have such nice comments, and it really inspires me to want to give my best to you guys too. So give yourselves a pat on the back. Don't give the Yankees a pat on the back. They don't deserve it, but you guys do. So you guys have been great, and it has been a hell of a ride. Let's have a great off season. I look forward to talking to you guys in the future. God bless, good luck, and RIP Yankees 2025.